Good morning, everyone. I am Maria Saeed and my colleague Maria Ismail. We designed this lesson plan for the elementary third grade about physical change in the science textbook second semester. The plan consisted of three objectives, which are: at the end of the lesson, students will identify the definition of physical change, level 1, remembering. Students will compare between mixture and solutions, level 4, analyzing. Students will classify the material into mixture and solution, level 4, analyzing. At the beginning of the class, we will do the starter activity and it will take 5 minutes of the class time. In the starter activity, the teacher will do white paper experiment. First, the teacher will distribute white paper for each student in the classroom. Then the teacher begin to hold up a white paper in front of the students and ask them the following questions, which are: who can identify this piece of the matter I'm holding up? Can you think of other way that may apply to change the paper? Do we still have paper? Are we still left with paper? Then the teacher says, through this experiment that we did, what kind of change occurred on the paper as we studied in the previous lesson? This activity will help us to apply creative thinking and support Piaget theory in development of a creative thinking that confirm the right mix of creativity along with the curriculum, help a student to be innovative and encourage them to learn a new thing. Also, creative expression play a key role in student logical development. As for the lesson introduction, it will take 5 minutes of the class time. The teacher will display the lesson title on the board. Then the teacher asks the student to sing along with each other the classroom rules. After that, teacher apply with them KWL strategy. The teacher will ask the student to fill the first 2 columns, what I know and what I want to know, and keep the third column at the end of the lesson, which will lead us to promote metacognition through planning for this strategy before the activity begins. We set the goal of this activity, which is measure the previous knowledge and student ability to learn. Then monitoring while working in this activity, we will check student understanding and comprehension, and we evaluate what they have learned at the end of the lesson. Then the teacher will move to explain the first objective, which is student will identify the definition of physical change. And this objective is in the first level of the Bloom taxonomy, which is remembering. It will take 7 minutes of the class time. In this objective, the teacher will use the questioning strategy as well as thinking time strategy to identify the physical change. Thinking time strategy is a strategy that the teacher uses for answering a question. She gives them 3 to 6 seconds to think and put their hand on their head. After that, they will discuss the answer with their peers. Then the teacher will ask them a question, which is: what was the most surprising part in the experiment that we did together? Then the teacher says, try to think what is the definition of physical change. At the end, the teacher will ask the student to write the definition on their small whiteboard. After that, the teacher will display the scientific definition of physical change and will ask the student to read it in one voice. So, this is an application of conceptual knowledge that will help students to learn new ideas by connecting those ideas to what they already know. Also, it's more important for a student to understand ideas and concepts. So, during the lesson, the teacher will give the assessment for the first objective. The teacher will make flashcard words and the students have to rearrange the word to identify the definition of physical change. So the student will work in a group to arrange the words in the envelope to have the physical change definition. And this is an application of constructivism theory through using a collaborative learning, and that will help the student to create a learning environment that encourages positive social interaction active engagement in the learning, and self-motivation. Then the teacher will move to the second objective, which is student will compare between mixtures and solution, and this objective is in the fourth level of a Bloom taxonomy, which is analyzing, and it will take 12 minutes of the class time. And this objective, the teacher will apply discovery learning strategy, questioning strategy, and a critical thinking strategy. First, the teacher will take the students to the lab, and she will wear a lab coat to look like a scientist, and she will say, "Now we will continue the lesson in the science lab." Then the teacher will display the lab's safety rules on the smart board. After that, the teacher will do an experiment in front of the students. She will add pebbles and sand to the first glass, and the teacher will add a teaspoon of salt and water to the second glass. Then the teacher will ask the students some questions, which are: look at the first glass, what's inside it? Look at the second glass, what is inside it? And she will say, now, if I give you the first glass, can you separate the pebbles from the sand? Student might be answer, yes, we can do that. Also, she will ask the student, what about the second glass? Can you separate the salt from the water? Student might be answer, no, we cannot do that. The teacher will ask them again, why you cannot separate the salt from the water? The student answers might be, because the salt melted inside the glass. After that, the teacher will explain the differences between mixtures and solution. Then the teacher will use a critical thinking strategy through presenting two pictures of lemonade powder in water and sand in water. Then the teacher will ask a critical thinking question, which is, why lemonade powder in water considered a solution and sand in water considered a mixture? And the teacher will encourage the student to answer by saying, the student who will answer the question will receive a Science Thinker certificate and bonus point in a Class Dojo application. This discovery learning strategy that we apply in this objective is related to constructivism theory because it promotes student exploration and cooperation with teacher and peers in the classroom. As for the application of a critical thinking strategy in this objective will help the teacher to promote the Piaget theory of cognitive development because children think differently from adults and see the world in different way. Also, improve the student understanding of their own thoughts process. In addition to that, we will encourage behaviorism theory in the classroom through the bonus point in the Class Dojo application and Science Thinker certificate. So, this is the Science Thinker certificate. During the lesson, the teacher will give the assessment for the second objective. The teacher will distribute a worksheet for each student that contains two pictures of mixture and solution, and the students have to compare between the pictures and answer the following questions. What do you see in the first picture? What do you see in the second picture? What is the difference between the first and the second pictures? And now I will let you with Miss Maria to continue our presentation.
Thank you, Miss Mariam. Hi, my name is Maria Ismail Al-Mulla, and now I will talk about the third objective of our lesson, which is students will classify the materials into mixtures and solutions, and this objective is in the level 4 of the Bloom taxonomy, which is analyzing, and will take 11 minutes in the class. In this objective, the teacher will use the group work strategy and the questioning strategies. So we apply here the constructivism theory of Vygotsky through using group work, which is giving the students the opportunity to speak about a science idea, share ideas, and develop their scientific understanding. So that will help the students to learn from each other. Also, giving responsibility to each student, and that will help to increase their confidence, and opportunity to gather evidence of those who understand and those who may need extra support. So firstly, the teacher will provide a collection of pictures containing mixtures and solutions, like as you see here, cereal and milk, peanuts and raisins, flour and milk, and dishwater, soup dissolved in water, along with a big chart paper and glue. This paper is divided into two parts, a section for mixtures and a section for solutions. So then the teacher will introduce the teamwork rules and assigns roles for each student. For example, group leader, writer, timer, presenter, tool holder. After that, the teacher calls the tool holder from each group to take the pictures and the chart paper and the glue. Then the teacher asks the groups to discuss the pictures and classify them, and then stick them into the paper in the appropriate section. So we apply here the cognitivism theory through providing pictures, and they have to classify them, which images can be an effective way of presenting abstract concepts or groups of data. Teaching with images can also develop students' visual literacy skills, which contributes to their overall critical thinking skills and lifelong learning. Also, that helps to meet students' ability to learn, and that supports the visual learning style. Also, it's all about seeing things in order to learn them. So this is the chart paper, the pictures, and the glue. After they finish the work, the teacher says, "That was a great job." Then the teacher starts to ask each group to present their work, and the presenter student has to stand in front of the class, and the teacher asks his group the following questions. What did you see in this activity? What are the materials that you put in the mixtures section? How did you know that? What are the materials that you put in the solution section? How did you know that? Then the teacher will give them a feedback and explain more for the students. So during the lesson, the teacher will give the assessment for the third objective. So she will distribute 2 cards to each student. As you see here, the green card with yes written on it, and the red card that says no. So the teacher will play the music and then gives the first student in row the material, and the students have to pass the material to each other. And when the music stops, the student who holds the material has to answer the teacher question. So the teacher will ask him, is this a solution or a mixture? And what is the evidence that led you to say this answer? After that, the teacher will ask the rest of the students, do you agree with your classmates' answer? And if they agree, they have to raise the green card, and if they do not agree, they have to raise the red card. The closure activity will take 5 minutes in the class, and the purpose of this activity is to measure students' understanding of the lesson, as well attract the students' attention through the electronic game and increasing enthusiasm among students to get the bonus points. And the winning student will be the hero scientist of the week. So the teacher displays this electronic game consisting of 6 questions of multiple choice on the smart board, where students are randomly selected to answer the questions. The questions are: what is a mixture? How are mixtures and solutions different from each other? Which of these is not an example of a mixture? Which of these is not an example of a solution? What is a solution? What is the meaning of physical change? So after completing this instructional game, the teacher asked the students to finish the 3rd column of the KWL strategy table that said what I learned. As for the homework, write or draw in your notebook the definition of physical change. Also, they will have to open the QR code to solve the online worksheet. So here we apply the connectivism theory of George Siemens through using the electronic online game for the closure activity and through using the QR code for the homework. So playing electronic games in the classroom increases overall motivation and creates a more engaging environment because technology can help to encourage active participation in the classroom and cooperates different learning styles, improves collaboration, prepares children for the future, and connects you with your students in a perfect way. Also, we support the writing drawing learners through using this question. Write or draw in your notebook the definition of physical change, and that will help to increase their self-confidence. As for the summative assessment, there would be an open-ended and multiple choices exam at the end of the unit of work. And this is the end. Thank you for listening.